Welcome to Key360 Framework Training, Part 1. We're going to talk about Key360 Homepage, including programs and projects, important homepage icons, landing pages, Key360 main icons, the menu ribbon/modules, Key360 grid or register functionality, which includes column functionality, adding, removing, shuffling, sizing, filtering, sorting, pinning, grouping, categorization, bulk status icon, and grid layouts. Let's get started and go to our Key360 homepage. On our Key360 homepage, you will see that we have two columns. On the left-hand side, we have our programs, and on our right-hand side, we have our projects. The option to have multiple programs is available. For example, you can split your programs into business divisions, departments, or perhaps split them into phases of your projects. For example, feasibility, execution, or archive projects. Within each program, you can have multiple projects. Projects can be easily moved from one program to another. This is done by our administration section. Now let's look at the icons visible in our top right-hand corner. Backup local grid layouts. Grid layouts will be discussed in more detail later in this video. However, this button allows us to back up your layouts to the Key360 cloud. It is particularly useful when migrating computers. Change password. Change password. If you need to change your password at any point in time, this is where you can change it. Now let's navigate to the desired project environment. Select the project that you want to enter by double-clicking on it. The following default landing page has been set up. Notes on landing pages. During the setup, we normally like to link a landing page to the project. The landing pages assist in finding registers and data quickly. The look and feel of these landing pages are fully customized and designed depending on the preference of a client. Actions buttons have been set up, which are linked to specific registers, graphs, open a new blank form, or a dashboard. They are selected based on the importance to the project. Each button on the landing page will be linked to its own action. This current default landing page focuses on tenders, estimates, dock control, Gantt, procurement, and recordings. There are some important icons to note on the top left-hand side corner. Dashboard. This is where you can create a new dashboard. A list of local layouts will be displayed once they've been saved under local. Return to project selection. This will take you back to the main login page and the Key360 exit button. Let's talk about knowledge areas. All the Key360 modules or units are accessed via the menu ribbon, which will be familiar having used any Microsoft product. Key360 is based on the 12 PM book knowledge areas, with an extended 3 sections to make up 15 areas. These sections include construction, commissioning, and fabrication. Up at the top, you will see all the knowledge areas. Click on Communication. Let's launch the desired unit or module. Click on Document Registers and Document List. Our register has opened. You can have multiple grids or registers open at once. Each can have a different layout or view applied. Let's open the document register this time. Communication, document registers, and document register. Switching between these two is managed via the tabs, document register, document list. Let's talk about Key360 registers, or Key360 grids. We are going to show you a few grid functionalities. Field chooser. The small green bar on the left of your grid is the field chooser. This is a list of all the columns available for specific module. Click on this field chooser. These can be sorted alphabetically by clicking on this grey block, or can be listed sort as grid. How to add a column to your grid. There are two ways of adding a column to the grid. The first option is to tick the white tick box on the left of the column name. This will insert a column at the end of your grid. The column might be grayed out, as this example. If it is, just click on the refresh button so that it can fetch the data. The second option is to select the column you want to insert into the list, hold and drag the column into the grid until you see a little black arrows. Let go. You can place the column wherever you want and hit refresh to collect the data. This is an easier way to insert columns because you don't have to move it into a place afterwards. How to remove columns. There are two ways of removing columns. Firstly, you can untick the selected column in the field chooser, or you can click on the column heading, hold your mouse and drag it over until you see a black X and drop the column heading. This will remove the column from your view, but you will still be able to see it in the field chooser should you need it at a later stage. Red and black headings. You will note that in the field chooser list, as well as the column heading, that we have red and black column headings. The red headings mean that the cell in the column is editable for your assigned security role. The black headings are non-editable. The black heading might be also a system-generated date or code or data that pulls in from another Key360 register. Shuffling and sizing the columns. You can change the width of the column by placing your mouse cursor at the end of the column heading and dragging the column to the desired size. To move or shuffle a column, you click on the column heading and drag it to the desired spot and drop. Please be careful not to drop it below. As you can see, the two columns have merged. Grouping. We can use grouping to categorize our data according to the selected category. Grouping makes reporting a bit easier because we can change the view within seconds. Locate the grey grouping bar just above the column headings. Once your mouse moves over it, it will turn an orange color. Once highlighted, click on the grouping heading bar. Group by area. Drag a field here to group by that field. You can now drag any column into the space. Before we add a column, let's select our categorization. Select Categorization button. This has been pre-set up and will be explained in more detail later on. Please select the boxes next to the name for WBS and area. Press Save and close. Your categorization will appear on the right-hand side of your register. Select area by holding down and dragging it to the group by area. As you can see, the grid has immediately refreshed. You will see that the grouping is now in effect and the groups are closed. Select the plus icon to expand all the groups. You can also activate a filter on the grouped item by selecting the filter icon. We've selected Area 100 and now Area 100 and 200. Let's remove the grouping. Clear filter. We can add further grouping by dragging more columns into the grouping area. Let's group by our WBS. Now we have Area 100 and our WBS items. We can switch around WBS and area if we wish to. Let's add one more column, current status. The grouping sequence can be altered by moving the grouping columns back and forth within the grouping area. Grouping can be expanded to the desired level with these buttons here on the left. Expand all, collapse to, and collapse all. Try rearranging your columns to get the desired grouping that you would like. To remove grouping, click on the column and drag it so that you see the X and drop. Our grouping has now been removed. Filtering. Click on the filter icon next to the column heading that you want to filter. You will notice that the filter is quite familiar. Select the item and start typing in the search field what you want to filter. And click OK. You will now notice that your filter icon has been highlighted green. You can undo your filter by using the clear filter icon by clicking on the filter icon and selecting Clear Filter from Current Status. The green highlight has been removed. The search icon. Click on your search icon and type in the word that you would like to search. This search icon is a magnifying glass. The system will search all the columns in the register for that specific word and return all the line items containing that word. Let's search for something. Let's click this red cross to cancel our search. Let's talk about pinning. The pinning icon will move any column in your grid to the front of the grid. For example, if you select a new item from your field chooser, the column will appear at the end of your grid. Select the pin item. This will move your column to the front of the grid, but it will also create a freeze pane, as you can see. Let's select more columns. The freeze pane has been applied to all 3 columns. If you want to remove the freeze pane and keep your items in the front, click the pin again. Another way to remove it is by selecting the grey line and pulling it to the front of your grid. To add it, click on that grey line and bring it to the back of your grid. Let's talk about sorting. The Key360 grid view can become quite large and can be sorted into alphabetical order, making it easier to find the data you need. By clicking on the column heading, it will sort that column accordingly, from A to Z and Z to A. Let's look for a date column. If it is a date column, the latest date will now be at the top when clicking the heading. And again, the oldest column will then be at the top. Calculations or summation. Let's select the Summation Sigma sign button on the top of a column. You'll see the following functions. Count, counts the number of rows within the column. Sum, sums all the values within the column. Minimum, returns the minimum value of the column. Maximum, returns the maximum value within the column. And average, returns the average of the values within the column. Please note that if there are no values available, the calculation will either return a blank or an NA value. Let's select the Count button by ticking the little button on the left, and then click the tick button. As you can see, it has counted the number of documents in the register. Summations are also applied automatically to grouping. To remove the summation, click on Summation button again, unselect the Count, and press the tick button. As you can see, our summation has been removed. Similar to Excel, we can wrap column headings. Wrap content wraps lengthy text or data in a cell by displaying it in multiple lines within a cell. Click on the column heading and wrap content. As you can see, the text has expanded. Let's talk about bulk status icon. The Add New Status to Selected Item button, bulk status button, allows you to select multiple entries and simultaneously change or reallocate a status. Select the lines applicable to the bulk status change. Let's select these items because they don't have a status. Let's select the adjacent tick boxes, 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure that the items have only been selected, 4 records selected. Select the bulk status icon. A confirmation window will appear, requiring the confirmation of the status change action and the number of rows to be changed. 4 records, 4 ticks. Select Yes. A new form will open where you can select the new status, next responsible person, and click Save and Close. Let's select our status, Draft. We can also add a comment if necessary. Press Close and Save. As you can see, our statuses have been updated. It is important to note that rows can be clicked that are not currently being displayed in the screen. That is why it's very important to make sure that you view the bottom right corner here as 4 items are selected, and when you do your confirmation on your statuses. Let's talk about categorization. This is our categorization button. Let's press it. A categorization form will pop up. Only our WBS has been pre-set up under the Scope Knowledge area. However, you have the option to set up a cost breakdown structure, procurement breakdown structure, and metadata, which allows you to customize your Key360 project by categorizing your data to your preference. This is available to all the registers in Key360. Let's select our categorization. You can have the option to either use code or name, or both. Let's just use name for now, ensuring that the tick is applied. Close and save. The selected categorization field will open up at the end of your grid. Let's pin it to the front and group by it. Let's talk about grid layouts. Click on the grid layout icon. The local grid layout setting window will open. You will see that there is a green and grey block. The grey block is your local layouts. These are the layouts saved to your computer or profile only. Once saved to the local, you can move them across to global. If the layout is under the global section, it will be available for the entire team to download to their local. By moving the local to global, you are sharing it with the team. This will be covered later in the training video. Let's close this for now. Thank you for watching Key360 Framework Training, Part 1. Please note that we also have Part 2 and Part 3 available for your viewing.